Okay, we're finally on part B of the basic protocols, the RIPDS and the RIPDS. Application package. Everybody gets an application package. It's not just one little document. It's a package. Background checks just like last time. Physical exams. We're going to tell them where to report. And I have a big vision of this. This should really, really be handled by our United States military, by our armed forces. Kind of like when they drafted everybody in World War II or whatever. I can really envision them having the capacity to handle it. We have wars overseas. Well, hell, we have wars here at home, and one of them is STDs. One of them is the prostitution in the street, the slavery of our young juveniles to the pimp aspect of things. The military would be doing some good. Plus, during this, we're not only getting physicals on everybody, we're getting their DNA, which is something we'll get into eventually too. Sexual assault by STD, do not lie, you will be charged. If you know you have an STD and you apply, you tell them so we can categorize you appropriately. You go in there purposely lying, it's the same as trying to give us one. It's an attempt to engage in illegal prostitution. No matter what, it is classified as a sexual offense. And all sexual offenses are considered violent. By the very nature of sex, it's considered violent. It's a violent act in attempting to commit a violent act, and it definitely goes into really hurting the minds of small children, which is violent unto itself in the most insidious way. So don't lie, because we'll fry you for it. You'll go right down with the pedophiles. Mutual cooperation. All you ladies and gentlemen working the streets today, working out of those 50 pages of New York escorts inside the New York yellow pages, from what I heard, 50 plus pages of escorts. We ask for your cooperation in this. You're still making money, except now you're more protected than ever. No threat of going to jail. We're watching you for diseases, and you're helping us get rid of the pedophiles, getting rid of the pimps. You're your own pimp. If you want to go to work, go to work. If you don't want to, you don't have to. We're not making you. No, we don't. We're not making you. Definitely not. We're just trying to get you off the street is what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep the kids out of it, and we're trying to put your money to good use. Why should it go up a heroin addict pimp's arm or up his nose or whatever when it could go to helping at hospitals or helping the military or whatever, which we'll get into the actual allocations later. The POP physician or physical transition teams. Now this is important. There's all important. The transition teams will be made up of 3 separate testing physicians that do not, and that goes to preserving integrity, do not necessarily know each other. They definitely do not get to see the records of each other. Each one of these will be testing blindly. They're going to be looking for STDs, giving you a full-blown physical. We want to know where you stand so we can appropriately classify you and, of course, charge you for your licenses accordingly. Once again, it's done blindly on purpose. We're trying to eventually totally preserve the identity of all the RIPDS, the TRICS, and the TRICS. So they don't know each other, and we'll just keep it that way. Notified, approved, denied. Now we'll send you a letter, have you call in, come on in, because you're not going to get that information online. We want to tell you if you've been approved or disapproved, where you land in the program, if you've been denied, why you've been denied, etc. New identities. What's going to happen here is this is a game of flesh for adults. It's a fantasy land. So the prostitutes, the RIPDS and RIPDS, they get to choose a stage name. Plus there will be an additional number attached after that simply for POP computing purposes. But and the TRICS and TRICS will get to choose a secret identity. Now it doesn't mean they have to use that identity on every fantasy. Call yourself the Zone Arranger. How does that sound? And come in zoned all the time. No, you don't have to do that. You could be like Detroit Rock City and Sirloin sometimes, I suppose. I don't know. It's up to you. Play with it. Have fun with it. The bottom line is that there will be a POP special committee of select physicians that will actually do the reassignments from name to identities, to secret identities. So eventually, once you are assigned your permanent POP physician, No one will know you by any name except, of course, the POPA itself and the select committee, by any name except your secret identity. Unless, of course, you tell them what your name is or something like that, which you shouldn't. Hell yeah, by the time you're done with training, they'll be licensed for business. The RIPS can get with it. Choose a stage name. The identity number will be chosen for them, but the stage name. And personal POP physician assignments will come in next. What will happen is TRICS must report. The TRICS must report within 28 to 30 days after their very first time being serviced. The RIPS must report every 30 days regardless. If they've had service within that time, on the doctor's discretion, they might have pap smears, whatever. It's the doctor's discretion. But at minimum, they'll have a basic checkup, how are you doing, what's going on kind of thing. And once again, I picture this a lot like the military setup I've seen for World War II. When the nation gets together and the nation really puts itself together, we can do marvelous things. And we have wars here at home, starting with STDs, juvenile prostitution, juvenile slavery. We can take care of these wars with this, just processing them through. You see, you have this personal POP physician who might be more of a personal POP office where different physicians come in and out and they're part of, say, for example, the National Guard. Information usage. Yes, your personal information under your stage name if you're a RIPD, under your secret identity if you're a TRICS, will go to the ROR. That includes all your physicals, everything goes in there to the ROR, so that the ROR can do its stats, do all of its number crunching. And this goes to the Go ROR. This is really where we first start talking about going global with all this. The Go ROR will be, just like the ROR will be in charge of getting everything at a national level, the various nations will also be forwarding that information up to the Go ROR, which will work in conjunction with the World Health Organization and others, in order to, once again, get a grip on STDs to isolate them. I found it real interesting. America is the most promiscuous nation. Those in the hip-hop crowd had the worst cases of STDs. The country music people surprised me with the least amount. And Islam, I was looking at it at a global level. The people of Islam. Here you are with 4 wives doing whatever. Who are we to judge? They have the least amount of AIDS amongst them. The least. Okay. Condom usage. Always the female's choice first. She can choose whatever she wants. Male's choice second. If she says no and he still says yes, she has to comply. Or they obviously weren't on the same page, which will be an opportunity to check the box on their, rent me for a weekend services kind of thing. Or, when you're first scoring services, it's going to say, do you want to use a condom or not? They'll be able to check off a box. So they should be on the same page on this. Don't assume that the one or the other brought one. Always bring your own. Personal identity preserved. Yes, we went through a lot of hoops to make all this happen. 2, 3 doctors plus a personal physician. But a lot of that was to protect the identities of the prostitutes as well as those purchasing prostitution services, as much as it was to protect the public safety in general. We want to get the STDs under control, get the juveniles off the street. So we're doing this for a variety of good reasons. Annual fees. It's the usual, $250 annual training. You have your $100 application fee. Don't forget your 20 times 12 for pop-in access. In this case, it's 25% of their maximum weekly earning potential. So whatever the most based on their class that they're applying for, whatever RIP or RIPS is applying for, whatever that is, 25% of the most that they could make in a week based on the laws surrounding that. They must deposit that. And that way, they're already set up for business. They already have the money deposited. They've gone through training. They've paid their pop-in access. They're licensed for business and otherwise ready to go. They've got their POP assignments. Their identities are protected. Their information is going where it needs to go. They even are reminded about condom usage.